All right, right on time, the President of the United States comes out with an utterly deranged statement regarding the lethal and tragic shooting of a 37-year-old woman in Minneapolis, Minnesota earlier today. The shooting was perpetrated by an ICE agent who shot as the car was very clearly driving away. Now, Donald Trump, the President of the United States, doesn't come out with any calm or any moral clarity as usual. What else would you? Would you actually expect him to come out and calm the situation down? Of course not. He comes out and immediately defames the deceased, says that there were professional agitators on scene, such as the women nearby who were actually genuinely screaming in horror, and then says the law enforcement officer must be nearly dead because he was hit by a car. None of this is true whatsoever. And before we even dig into Donald Trump's post, I think it's incredibly important to acknowledge two things. Number one, rest in peace to the 37-year-old who died. It is genuinely tragic. And when I opened Twitter, it immediately had turned into a political battlefield of who was right and who was wrong and if this was Trump's fault or not Trump's fault. And without anyone taking a step back to realize there was a tragic loss of life, it turns into a political shit show. Now, the reason why this is because of Donald Trump, because of Donald Trump's style of politics that he has played for the past 10 years, because of what we see on screen now, Donald Trump's willful lying about the situation to the American people. This means all of the Trump agitators from the top down were immediately trying to spin the situation, and it turned inherently political rather than saying ICE fucked up and it's tragic that this woman died. Before we even dig into Trump's post, it's critically important that I show you this slowed down video coming from Micah Irfan that says, "This is not self-defense." As I played this very slowed down video, just know, the ICE agent right here is not the one who shot. It's the ICE agent directly behind him. The one question is, was this ICE agent's life in danger? This video answers that question. His life was clearly not in danger. You want to know why? You want to know what this video shows? A few key things. Number one, the ICE agent was shooting at this woman from behind. Look at this slowed down version of it. He's shooting from behind her. But also, the way her car is turning, you can just reasonably conclude that she was turning her wheel to get out of there. The ICE agents were yelling conflicting commands in this moment, and it only makes sense that her car backs up and then turns in such a way where she's trying to get away. She did not turn towards them, she turned away from them. The reason why I'm trying to be very incredibly clear about what's going on in this slowed down video is because the spinning from MAGA is so relentless that even Mayor Jacob Frey of Minneapolis had to use his speech addressing this to say, "Do not believe the BS." Listen to him.
So, they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed.
He says that is bullshit. I love the strong words coming from Jacob Frey.
There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
Thank you. Thank you to one Democrat for standing up, being assertive, and just telling it how it is. We're all very angry. Donald J. Trump then posts in an inflammatory manner. Now that we've gone through everything, it's extra important to remember what this video showed. What does 1984 say? The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. Donald Trump in this post is asking you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears by saying, quote, "I have just viewed the clip of the event, which took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was a horrible thing to watch." Okay, so far, that is a normal presidential statement. It was a very horrible thing to watch, of course. Then he goes into deranged lunatic conspiracy theories by saying, quote, "The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe that he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. The situation is being studied in its entirety, but the reason these incidents are happening is because the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. First of all, what do you mean the situation is being studied? Do you mean it's being investigated? Who's studying the situation? Secondly, nowhere in this clip is anyone threatening an ICE officer. In fact, she's outnumbered like 6-1. There are like 10 different ICE cars around. There's law enforcement, and there are multiple officers surrounding her car. There is no reality in which anyone in this situation, other than the woman in the car, should have feared for her life. There is no reality in which the person who's standing here, shooting while she's driving away, is on the edge of losing his life, as Donald Trump says. Trump says, based on the attached clip, it's hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. He's totally fine after this. You can say that it's illegal, you can say that it's immoral for her to drive away, but you cannot say it is a death sentence. In no reality should this be a death sentence. This is a disproportionate use of force coming from undertrained ICE agents who were already being reckless. Another disgusting part is that if you watch the full video, which I posted on my channel in the last video I made, we go over the entire video. There is a woman who's screaming, but it's because she's screaming in horror. She's screaming like, oh my God, like she is very much so horrified that someone just got murdered in front of her. And the president of the United States, with no evidence, calls her a professional agitator. That's almost even, it's more offensive than Kristi Noem's response. Kristi Noem called the woman who was driving away a domestic terrorist like 20 minutes after she died.
Questions there. You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well.
Everything Kristi Noem just said is so incredibly easy to debunk that it's honestly offensive that she is trying to gaslight us. First of all, the idea that Democrats don't respect law enforcement or want to assault law enforcement is not true when Donald Trump pardoned multiple people like Daniel Rodriguez. Video from police officer Fanone's body camera shows Mr. Rodriguez driving a stun gun into Officer Fanone's neck, causing him to scream. Officer Fanone, who since left the police force, sustained serious injuries and suffered a heart attack that day. Even some of Trump's close allies had opposed granting clemency to the rioters who committed violent crimes. We can list off 10 more, 100, 700 more rioters who committed violent crimes, but Donald Trump pardoned them all. So Kristi Noem claiming that Democrats don't care is absurd. But secondly, I can't believe she had the goal to call a deceased U.S. citizen, or honestly anybody, of course, but somebody who she claims to care about and represent, a deceased U.S. citizen, she called them a terrorist, a domestic terrorist, less than an hour after this U.S. citizen died. Sam Stein points out regarding Trump's statement, it's hard to believe the ICE officer is still alive, writes the president, of an ICE officer who was not hit at all and was fine enough to go run down the street to check on the woman he had just previously killed. I mean, Donald Trump says it's hard to believe he's alive. This is a photo of the guy. This is a photo of the ICE officer. You know, this is what happens. Any rational American could have predicted or telegraphed that ICE would continue to overstep in the way that they have by using disproportionate force in a reckless, untrained manner, and it would lead to the death of a U.S. citizen. I've made this argument in debates before. On camera, I have said ICE is going to lead to the death of a U.S. citizen. This could happen. They have made so many mistakes, and now we are here. This is a story that we've dreaded, and I, of course, just want to say rest in peace to the 37-year-old woman who passed away. Incredibly, incredibly tragic. And let's not forget that there is human life at stake here. Even if Trump forgets it, we won't. I love you all, and peace out.